Good evening, everyone. Boy, the funny thing about doing this is that I never know if it's actually working, but I'm going to assume it's working. Anyway, if you're out there, thanks for joining me. I thought we would, I don't know, I thought it'd be a nice night of Thanksgiving to sit down and just kind of look at some musical things and do a little bit of arranging. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the sort of famous Thanksgiving hymn and I think we'll, I don't know, play around with it, see what we can do. This is a bit of an experiment for me. I haven't been writing a lot lately, and so this is a way to sort of practice writing, kind of keep things fresh, make sure that, you know, I've got the creative juices flowing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off just with the melody. Let's talk about this melody just a little bit really quick. Let me go over here so you can see it. But the melody that I'm going to work with is, you know, this popular "We Gather Together," this Thanksgiving hymn. So we have, goes like this. Anyway, it's a really nice melody. I thought it would give us a lot of opportunities to play around with. A couple of quick observations. The first line, the first phrase of the melody doesn't really go much of anywhere. It just kind of hangs out and floats around. I've written it down in C to start off with today. Second line breaks out of that, moves up a little bit the D, and then lands on the G. But it's interesting because even though the first phrase started on that G, this G has a very different color to it. And then third phrase kind of brings us back down to earth. Fourth phrase, really we visit that G, and then brings us back home to C. All right, let me jump over here. So I think first thing I'm going to do, I'm kind of curious as to what it sounds like with just sort of a drone accompaniment. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to take and put fifths on it. I think I'll just like improvise a little bit. So like if I were playing the melody, again in the key of C, it starts on the fifth, starts on sol. On C. I think our first experiment we're going to run, let's go with that. I mean, I just kind of like the gentle drone of it. There are some things that we can do, I think, to spice it up. What if we, if you've heard me talk about writing or arranging before, I ask myself, what if a lot? I like scales. Everybody likes a good scale. Let's jump over here. Scales. I love scales. All right, so let's see if we did. I'm going to do that. I know it's not going to work, trust me, but it's a good place to start. So now, what I've basically done is, you can probably see I've got C coming down to B, coming down to A, coming down to G, and then I just did the same thing in the second phrase. Let's listen to it and see how that sounds. So if we go not bad. It's kind of pretty. Didn't Vince Guaraldi do this in the Charlie Brown Christmas special? There's like that. Anyway, he did something like that. Anyway, so let's see. This comes down like this. I think this really works nicely in the first phrase, at least. Ooh, what if we kept the scale going? What if we kept the scale going? That's not going to work, but it'll sort of work, right? Because if I take this, I know it's weird. That can go there, and that can go there, and then that can go there. That's not going to work. Okay, so the idea here in the seventh, if you listen to the way the hymn was originally arranged, we actually end up in measure 8 with a 5 chord. And so if we end up in measure 8 with a 5 chord, then one thing that we can do before that is that we can spice it up this kind of a way. So then we have a little D chord going over to the 5 chord. So what if we did this? That's not too bad. Can I be fancy? I can be fancy. Can we do this here? I'm gonna do this. And then I love this idea of like reaching up above with the 7th and then coming down. So I could do that, and then we just add a lower voice for the D there. So we can do something like that. I think that sounds nice. All right. Let's keep with our idea of 2 voices. So if we do this, then we can continue our scale. So here, if we have an F, E, D, and then C. So then we would have if I keep doing the scale down, it's not really going to work. It's going to sound kind of ugly in measure 13. I'm going to jump down here. I'm going to do this. Ba-dee-da-deem, ba-deem. And then that and that. And then that. Oops. I'll make it a half note so it fits. Let's go back here and I'll show you kind of what I was thinking on this part. Yeah, I can just do that. All right, so here's our first little arrangement. A nice little 2-voice accompaniment. Well, that's nice. All right, things I like about it, things I don't like about it, but we're going to move on. Let's see. Basically what I've done is I've made like a bunch of blank copies of these. So we can do a bunch of these today. Here's the next one. You know, when we often look at the way harmonization is taught, especially for piano students, we learn about using standard chord progressions in the left hand. The famous 1, 4, 1, 5, 1 kind of progression. If we did something like that here, we would have couple of C chords. There's my F chord. And then our G chord, our C chord. And then remember, here is where we had our applied dominant. And just so we can kind of hear this. Here's where it gets weird. It's always funny when you have to deal with like these little momentary modulations, because we end up in sort of this 5-chord. Anyway, it's not very fancy. Back and forth between 5 and 1 a whole bunch. But there's nothing, I don't know, objectionable about it. Bum ba dee da deen da deen beam beam bum bum. Let's give this a listen. And I know this isn't normally the kind of thing we would do and actually play in concert for other people, but it's a good starting point. That's nice for the first 2 lines, second line. So that's nice. All right, so a couple of little things, and this is honestly how I think about a lot of composition and arranging. I always kind of start with something easy. I guess that's what practicing is all about. You kind of start with kind of a simple-ish version of things, and then you play around with it. Wondering about some Borden action? I don't even know what that means. What is Borden action? Okay, I'm going to learn something from Rebecca. Beginnings, I think, can be simple. Because beginnings are just kind of establishing the tone and the tune. Here, this third line, boy, you know, the third line, it's kind of like a story, right? You kind of need some action to happen. And here in my third line, I have 0 action. I'm just going back and forth between chords. What if I did... I could do it this way. All right, so I'm going to reorganize this. And I'm going to do it that scaly way that I was talking about earlier. What if we did with the F on the bottom, with the E on the bottom, with the D on the bottom, and then a C on the bottom. So you see these bottom notes here going from F to E to D to C. Anyway, I think that's a lot more active. I think that's going to give us which is nice, but I think we can do more. So with this last line, now that we've got, if we look at our bass line, C, 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 B, C, D, G, everything is sort of stepwise so far. And the lowest note is C, isn't it? No, I go down to a B here. We can do better. I think here what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this A down, this D down, this G down, and that's a weird leap. I'm going to axe the C. So then we have... Yeah, a little muddy there, but I think overall it works. Okay, I knew Brendan was going to do this. Measure 11, how about a D flat in the bass? Okay. All right. Brendan wants a D flat in the bass. We'll give him a D flat in the bass. You know, the only thing about the D flat in the bass, like it's a cool sound, but I feel like it's kind of, it's slightly juicy, kind of normal, really saucy, and then too basic. So if we went really saucy, I almost want to do this. I want to do something shocking. Isn't this shocking? So then, I don't know. Who knows where it would go from there? But fun to play around with. All right, so there's sort of some basics on some harmony. Other things, of course, you could do with harmony. Substituting relative minors, always a good time. And then I do stuff like this all the time. Jump the C up the octave. That's why I like this software. You can just like jump things around an octave and see what it sounds like. I like that. It keeps the C up top. This is too muddy. That really is too edgy. And we'll just do that. Okay, so there's another arrangement. Let's do more. Okay, so next idea. What on earth am I gonna do? So that was a little bit of experimentation with the harmony of it. Let's do a little bit of experimentation with the pattern in the left hand. So, you know, I had this thought earlier when I was kind of playing around. I did like no, I don't know, preparation for this, just because I thought it would be fun to kind of sit here and brainstorm. But I'm thinking, you know, about patterns in the left hand, and it's kind of fun to improvise a little bit and just kind of see what happens. So we could go with like sort of a classical Alberti bass kind of thing. So we could do something like that. Anyway, I was playing around with that, and I'm like, well, that's fine. It sounds a little muddy. I think it'd probably be better higher. Because there's what? There's like that Kuhlau sonatina. something like that. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, in G it would sound better. Oops, what key am I in? That key. Can we do something in G? Let's do something in G. And what I'm thinking I might do is, I don't want to go classical. It seems stodgy or a little hoity-toity. I don't know. Let's do that. I know it's a little cliche, but I'm not above cliche. Excuse me, I gotta figure out how to get my melody in G major also. G major is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps higher. Happy Thanksgiving, Omar. Thanks for coming. So, let's see. Sorry, just so you know what I'm up to over here. I'm playing around with... I've got my next one set up here in the key of G. And I'm going to do this accompaniment pattern. This I always find like a really, really interesting way to tease out some ideas. Okay, so I like this idea. It's pretty, it's, like I said, a little cliche. But it works. It has a nice warm sound. For those of you who, I don't know if anybody's watching this who's not normally a pianist, but in the piano world, pianos always sound better when you have bigger intervals on the bottom and then littler intervals as you go up. As of Chopin. Beethoven didn't do that, but Chopin did, and it's pretty. Bum, bum, bing, bum, bum. I like it. So then we have to figure out how to make it work through all of the different chord changes. And so this, I actually think, this is like really fun, I think, sometimes, is to try to take a pattern like this and then see how you have to modify it or change it or just do something different to, yeah, make it fit. So for our first line, that fits there. It doesn't fit there, but if I take these notes and move them up a step, then it works. For those of you who are real nerds and did like Schenkerian analysis and things, this is a voice exchange. This is the C goes from C to A in the melody, and then the accompaniment goes from A up to C. So anyway, like I said, that's deliciously nerdy. And then our first line sounds like this. All right, now it gets spicy. Sorry, I didn't fix all these when I did my key signature. All right, so if we did it kind of the basic boring way, we would still have G there, G there. This one would be in A, right? And then this one would be a D chord. All right, so let's see. What I'm going to do is, I don't like that I've got two G chords in a row. Two G chords in a row. I mean, I don't know. It's an awful lot of G. So of course, relative minor is your friend. So there, we go to there. And of course, the other thing I want to do is to give my bass note a little passing tone, so we'll walk down to the E in the bass. So then, from the end of the other line, we have this G, down to F sharp, down to E. I like that. It sounded a little awkward. Let me do it up to tempo real quick, just to see if that's why it sounds awkward. So yeah, it's really awkward to have these little parallel fifths. It's not just to keep your theory teachers happy. It actually sounds stupid when you write parallel fifths like I have. So instead of doing that, parallel sixths are much better. So let's take those, we'll move those down. I think that's going to sound nicer. I'm going to make another modification because one of the things bugging me about this is that it's like samey same. Hi Jane, hi Brody. Hey, the pictures of the food look good. Makes me hungry. Even though I already ate a ton earlier today. Ba-da-dee-dee-dee-bum, bum, bum. Can we do that? That might be interesting. You know what I love about that is because now I've got like this implied like tenor or viola line or something like that. So we can see this A going up to the B, going up to the C sharp, sort of going up to the D, right? Okay, so we have to have another line. Boy, there's so many things that one could do. I'm at a total loss of how to get into this. Okay, so let's do this. So what I don't know is how to get it really smooth from 8 into 9. So let's go backwards. Let's work backwards. If I want to end up here, yeah, let's work backwards. So I want to end up here at the end of this third phrase. That is a great place to come from. How do I get into that? All right, so I don't know. I'm thinking about bass line. So if it was bass line going from there to the F sharp, that seems a little, I don't know. That seems a little not my style. Okay, so let's see. Oh, I like this idea of maybe going from a B and then going under to there. So in measure 10, if we had a B, oh, what about that? I think that's going to be nice. So if we did that, so I like this. And then I have one measure left. Okay, so I have to bridge the gap. Well, the natural way is, okay, since there's a D here and we're going to a B here, we should obviously stick a C here. That I wasn't able to like keep my little idea with always doing like a big leap and then little steps, but this fits the chord, and it's kind of, I don't know, like little dramatic gestures. Everything goes up. Ooh, but how about this? If I'm going to make a dramatic gesture that goes up, that F sharp is really going to want to shine and go all the way up to the G, right? Boom. So, yeah. And then, yeah, as everything comes up, I think that's going to work. Okay, let me play all the stuff that's like above my head on the screen. So if we did... I'm happy with that. Ooh, and then I don't really know what to do. You know what? I love E so much for the bass here. And I'm going to change the rhythm just a little bit. I don't know, I'm just imagining, like, you know, it's the end of the tune, so like the energy level starts to come down, so maybe we do like bump. Ah, definitely not that. Okay. And then like eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. Eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. And then I don't know. I don't know. Ooh, what about that? Okay, so what I did, that was kind of neat. What'd I do? We'll outline our D7 chord, and then for the ending, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take what I did at the beginning. Remember, we started this whole thing with this pattern that was like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play those notes backwards at the end and do it that way. I always like stealing from myself. And then down to the G like that. So I feel like that is, I don't know, reasonably successful. Works for me. was going to try to get this on the next page. Actually, I want to try to get this on the next page. You'll have to excuse me. I'm still kind of new to all this stuff. I can just cheat and do it this way. Anyway, sorry, today is not an engraving thing. Today is just writing some stuff down. So I'm going to cheat. It's not going to look pretty, but there we go. So here's that sort of full arrangement that we've got of that tune, again, with this idea of starting out with this. Yes, and then we'll do something wackadoo. I don't know what wackadoo is going to be. Okay, we'll find out. So there was the pretty one, and now we should do something a little more challenging. Oh gosh. Well, I guess when we think about challenging, well, let's do this. Let's put ourselves in another key to start off with. So let's see. Let's do F. My brain works pretty well in F. F has one flat. Sorry, I know there's probably a faster way to do this, but change all my naturals to flats. All right, something more wackadoo. Huh, okay, so what does wackadoo mean? I don't know what wackadoo means. Let's find out. Let's see, let's make this big. Sorry, let's orient ourselves in the new key. Okay, so let's see. Oh, let's take, people are commenting on things. So, you know, Brendan has ideas. Brendan, your idea disappeared. Rebecca says more crunch, so we can add some crunch. I like crunch. Oh, F in the bass, measure 5, 6, E flat, measure 7. F in the bass, measure 5, 7. E flat measure 7. Is that what you said for real? E flat measure 7? Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. So, okay. All right. Fine. I'm going to interpret what Brendan wants. So, measure 3. Let's put a placeholder here. All right, so there's your E flat in measure 3. All right, so let's see. What if we didn't start with an F chord? So I'm just improvising to improvise. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we'll just kind of go full jazz on all this, whatever. I'm not a jazz pianist, but I play one on TV. So I'm going to go here and here and here. All right, so hopefully this is a chord that is crunchy enough for Rebecca. And then we're going to drop everything a half step here. To use the E flat because Brendan said so. Like I said, I'm not a jazz pianist, so I just kind of like put crunchy notes together and, you know, I mean literally like what could you do? Ooh, hold on, sorry. We have to change our melody to a B flat there, because this, well, you know, there are some harmonies like that. Oh, who was it? Was it Iverson? There's like a great piano arrangement of Send in the Clowns from the Sondheim project, from the Liaisons project, and it has a lot of harmonies like that, which are really, really fascinating. Okay, so why not? Let's just go. Oh my gosh. So I had this idea of actually using like the same chord here in the left hand and just doing like this and that. And then in the left hand doing a B or a D and then jumping down to a G flat. Remember in that episode of Friends, and like Phoebe, like, you know, she plays guitar and she has like that theory of like chords where it's like a claw and like different hand shapes, and so instead of like A7, I can't really remember, but anyway, in an episode of Friends she talks about how like the, anyway, I think about that, like I just like I did this by like you keep got like the same shape in your hand, so it's got like, I don't know, clink, clink, and I think it works. I want something really kind of, in measure 5, I feel like we need something kind of Jacob Collier glorious there. have no idea what that would be. Because, you know, I'm not Jacob Collier. Oh, that chord needs to happen somewhere. I don't know what that chord is. What is it? G flat, sharp 11, G flat major 7, sharp 11 with a ninth in it? I don't know. It's pretty. It's G flat with F minor. That's how I think of it. Anyway, so let's see. Oh, that's a pretty place to go. What if we did that? Ah, definitely not that. This. And then in the bass, see, I said G flat in one hand and then F in the other hand, but what if it was G flat or just G minor in this hand and F major in the other hand? Because that's kind of that's a pretty way to go. And then it's neat because then this D goes down to the G flat and then slides up to the G. Technically, I guess that and that and that and that should be sorry. Drive me crazy. That should be a half note. All right. That's cool. We just plane that up like that. See, now I'm in a pickle because I don't know how to notate it. So here, all right, sorry, everybody's gonna have to just like live with me for a second. Because that has to go into a downstem voice because we're gonna do this in seconds. Yeah, we are. And then here we can just do it all with this. Here. So anyway, sorry, you two. You can be dotted half notes too with your friend. Sorry, you three. You can be dotted half notes too. There we go. What about that? That's crunchy. You guys made me do complicated things. Hey. definitely where we need to go, right? So we definitely have to go to a little half note there. Here, I think we're going to do a little tenor voice that goes like that. Here, we don't have to worry about voices. Here, I was thinking about the other voice just doing... I lied. I found another little voice I like in the middle, and then we'll surround it with that, except that. What if I did that? Here's where Brendan gets excited. Because he wanted a D flat. I don't know if that's going to work, but it's pretty. Yeah, it'll work. All right, and then who knows how well all this works? I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Here we're going to do that. Here, that, and here. What would that sound like? I like that fine. I like that fine. Sorry, I have a sound in my head. I don't know how to make it. Oh, that's what we want there. Okay. Yes, I can reach a 10th. It's like cheating. that's where I want to go. I'm just trying to find a natural way to do it. I don't know. Well, we'll fill in some blanks while we're doing it. While my brain is working on it, I don't know. This is going to be that chord. This is going to be that chord. That's what I'm going to do. I love the idea of A flat here. So we're just going to let a nice big A flat ring. And then we're going to let it, we're also going to have a thing like this. We're going to go. I think. Notated it in kind of a funny way, but here we're going to give ourselves this. And here we're going to give ourselves that. Because down here we're going to give ourselves that. And you know, I do that. So if we go all the way back to the thing that we looked at the very beginning when we did kind of this basic version, and I mentioned that like we had kind of a simple bass line that didn't move very much, and then we got a little bit of drama into it, and then the most dramatic motion in the bass was like here at the very end when we went all the way down to the G and then jumped up to the C. And I feel like this is something that arrangers do a lot. Like even in this, the one that was, you know, too pretty for some of you, it was when we got to the end is when we get sort of these low notes and then this like dramatic range from the D all the way up to the D and then coming down like that. Here it's kind of the same idea, but with like really, I don't know, crunchy harmonies. So like when we look, like it's still pretty wild through all of this. But then it got kind of simple and just kind of walked down, and then it got really wild. And you know, remember when we had those last two bars and the other sort of versions that we did this sort of dramatic jump in the bass, and we do the same thing here. And then here sorry, I just want to make sure that I do have a thing about ending in the same key that one starts in. I know not all composers do that. Ah! Not like that. Like that. And then maybe down here, just ending on like a fifth or something like that. Again, not like that. Can we put it in the right voice? There we go. So yeah, at the end of this, we end up with this dramatic. And then it melts down into the F chord. Well, let's play this thing. This is a wild one. Who knows what this thing is going to sound like? Let's see what it does. We start. not bad for 10 minutes of messing around. Couple of things in there that I'd probably change, but yeah, I don't know. I might continue working on it tomorrow. Who knows what will happen? As for now, gosh, it's 10 o'clock. I think I'm going to push save on this thing and go to bed because I ate a lot of food today and I am tired. But anyway, for those of you out there that have been listening in and stopping in, thanks for hanging out. I will see you all again, in the real world. And yeah, thanks for coming. Good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.